I must break you.
Come get it!
It's time, Michael.
I will do what I must.
You will try.
Final round.
You're going down.
Oh, no way.
There we go.
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening.
What's going on, guys and gals, and welcome to Good Reel Hunting. We hunt for the good reels, so you don't have to. It's your boy Brad. Got the Brett Man right over here. We have an awesome guest. Freaking Nic Cooling is in the house with us right down below, and we are doing freaking Slash It Out today. It's back finally. It's been a long-awaited departure from one of our favorite segments, but we're ready to pump back in because it's Shark Week, and we had to go ahead and do 2 shark movies to get slashed upon. So we're really excited about it today. We got 47 meters down, and we have bait 3D, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter. But we figured this would be a good matchup, and we're excited. Of course, I'll be doing the defending of 47 meters down. Brett's going to be defending bait, and I have my Bloody Mary here because sharks love it, and I think it's going to be awesome, man. How you guys doing? You pumped?
I got my high quality H2O.
Yeah, I'm ready. Pumped.
Oh, man. Hey, again, we're glad to have you here. We just figured that, hey, it's Shark Week. We got to do a video or something, and I know you've been wanting to do a Shark Week video. I'm like, you know what? Let's just join forces and let's kick some ass. So, without further ado, are y'all ready to look at the tail of the tape?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, Nick, for coming up with a cool topic for this episode. Obviously, he came up with the shark idea. He wanted to do that, and it took some planning, but we figured it out finally, and we're like, yeah, dude, slash it out. It's perfect. Swim it out even. So, of course, be sure to check out his channel. He's in the middle doing Friday the 13th reviews as well, alongside with us, and he's rocking them out of the park. They've been really fun, and it's been awesome. And, of course, if you haven't seen the rest of our Slash It Out episodes, we'll put a link for those over Brett's head. Now we're done with the intro. Let's rock and roll.
Woo! All right, let's go. Here is our tail of the tape.
Ooh, looking good, Bert.
Yeah, let's see here. Nick, you are our special guest. So, with looking at this tail of the tape here, is there anything that just really jumps at you?
Yeah, I kind of get the critics' scores, but the audience on both are super low.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really are. And yeah, that was the big shock to me, too, because to me, both of these movies are fun in their own way.
Yeah. And I had no idea Bait was a $30 million movie.
Dude, that is crazy to think it cost that much.
Yeah, wow. Well, it might have made $30 million, but there wasn't actually a U.S. domestic number because, again, this was a out of the United States film. Mm-hmm. So that's what Australian? Australian film. But yeah, and they filmed a lot of it in Australia too, but I think the post-production happened in Singapore. So It was just like tossed around all over the place, but it finally got done. And it made about $32.6 million. So they only made about, $2.6 million positive budget, which ain't that great.
Yeah, of course, 47 meters went on to have a little sequel. And I've heard it's actually not too bad. I haven't seen it yet. I started it one night, but I didn't get too far into it. Nick, what do you think? Have you seen that second one? Just curious.
Yeah, not a fan. I just rewatched it for a review, and I don't hate it as much as I did, but I'm pretty mixed on it personally.
Okay.
All right. And Bait was supposed to have a sequel too. However, what their sequel idea is that they were doing a plane ride to Australia and they were going to crash in the ocean. But this happened during 2014 when that famous airplane crash happened in out in the ocean. So they easily scrapped the idea.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay, cool. But yeah, man, I'm excited to get into these. I think they're pretty evenly matched, and I think it's going to be a fun discussion, man.
Actually, got one more. I noticed one big thing in this too. We're going to have Mandy Moore versus Sharni Vision. There's too much hotness going on here. I can't. Give me some water. I need to splash.
Can't take it.
I can't.
Don't get too much water, Bert, because you'll get eaten by a shark.
Oh, no, dude, that's blood.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if you're in the water, though. Anyway.
Well, yeah, because of noises and all that. Loud noise. That's what the shark's doing. Loud noises.
Yeah, they both kind of got attracted to noise here. But man, are you ready? Are you ready to rock? You want to turn it over to Nick?
Yeah, so Nick, it is your show now. Take it away, my friend.
All right, let's rock and roll. I figured to start off with talking about the setting and the location of these two films. Very different from each other. Well, the films themselves are very different movies, but they both contain sharks, so they made it in the Slash It Out. One being set in Australia, bait, in a supermarket during a tsunami, and the other one set in the middle of the ocean in Mexico, essentially in the bottom 47 meters down in a cage. So how do you guys feel about the locations and settings?
All right, who you want us to go first?
Doesn't matter. You go first.
Okay, I will go first. Easily my setting is like what we call the most fun, just because you're in a supermarket, which is a very unique location all by itself. There's not a lot of horror movies out there that are set in a grocery store setting. And they're like, since there's not a whole lot of grocery store settings, what can we do that's unique? Let's put a humongous ass tsunami in there and fill it up with water and put some great white sharks in there. That will easily draw your attention. Like, I'm going to give this movie a shot just because of the setting alone. Brad's setting, it's good. It's been done as sorts. I'll give him one credit that having the cage setting, because like that activity, I don't think that's been done before. But however, if you just want to have fun and just have a memorable setting, easily my movie does that.
Oh, Bert, man, I don't know, man. I feel like there's more horror movies set at freaking grocery stores than there are freaking in the bottom of the ocean. I mean, how many horror movies have you seen in the bottom of the damn ocean, man? Until Underwater came out.
Underwater, your movie, your sequel movie. I can keep going.
Oh, the sequel's not down there. This is can you keep going though? Because I don't know. I don't know many movies that's been set at the bottom of the ocean before. But okay. But yeah, I really do like the setting. Not only that, I like the idea of being in Mexico too. I kind of like the whole thing. The whole way the movie started was great. But you get to kind of, because you're already in unfamiliar kind of territory, being in a foreign country. And, obviously once you get out in the ocean and then you drop down to the bottom, that adds another element onto that. And I love the feel of seclusion they have down there because, they when they're in the cage, they can't they can't make contact with the people above on the radios or anything because of, they're out of range or whatever. So I think that adds another little bit of horror to that. There's obviously more going on here than just sharks here. Okay. We have, you got the air situation because of this. They only have one tank of air that they have to make last as long as they can. You're locked into a cage that won't open up at the beginning, at least. You're locked into a cage that won't open up. You're on the bottom of the ocean, and the movie is lit pretty well, so you can actually see what's going on. Unlike underwater, where you have no idea what's going on. But in reality, I mean, it's gonna be pitch black down there outside of their little lights. So that's pretty horrifying. And I think it's a really unique experience to really have the entire movie filmed down here in this cage under the freaking ocean on the bed of the ocean. So to me, I really do love that. I think it's really unique. And obviously it started getting replicated as soon as this came out. So with open water cage wreck or whatever it was called. but yeah, man, I think it's really unique and really frightening overall.
Yeah, they're both very isolated, both settings. I'd say even more so 47 meters down. And it's not going to be for everyone because you're in that one setting for so long. But I think it works, and they're both pretty original, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So next up, since we talked about the location and setting, let's talk about the premise itself and what's appealing about it. Like one having the tsunami and the sharks after you, while the other one, you got the sharks and the pressure and all that. So just the idea of the film itself.
Okay, Brad, I'll let you. Yeah, you go, Brad. We'll just go back and forth.
I like, again, kind of. I know I already kind of talked about it a little bit already. Obviously, you mentioned the oxygen thing, the pressure of being at the bottom of the ocean. Obviously, all that adds kind of fun scary ideas to this story. And I really like that. I like that quite a bit. And the premise of, I mean, honestly, this makes me never want to go freaking cage diving, because it's like, what if this damn thing freaking snaps and you go down to the bottom of the ocean? Like, it honestly makes you think, like, anytime if you've seen this movie, anytime you look at a freaking excursion of going to freaking shark dive, you're gonna have that thought in your mind, like, oh, should I really do this or not? Because there's always that chance, something's gonna happen and I'm gonna end up at the bottom of the freaking ocean with my leg crushed by this cage and sharks circling around. So I really like the idea that this kind of impacts the way you think about things, if you were to think about doing this kind of excursion. So the premise alone is nice. The premise and the bait, I mean, it's fun, it's a good time, but there's really nothing proprietary about it. I mean, it's kind of Snakes on the Plane kind of vibe. You're in a situation, you're in a location, there's sharks there. It's cool, it's fun, we have a good time with it, but it's not really, it just, it's not that you could do that with any kind of location, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, and just a thing about your movie, Brad, just like the cage diving thing with the sharks thing, it's just the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not sure why the hell you get in the water with a killing machine that can kill you.
It's a very popular excursion, Bert. People across the world do it all the time. They love it.
Yeah, I'm sure those two girls loved it too. So, yeah, I'm sure they did and paid $100 for it. Yeah, okay, we're going to get in there with a bunch of strangers. Besides the point, that's not what this particular topic is about. The topic is, I would think a tsunami is scarier just because that's created by Mother Nature. And yeah, of course you could predict one coming, and so you can kind of seek shelter and all that. But like, you can never really understand the power of it until it actually happens. And the people in the movie just really experienced that power, because like, we had our set of characters, but they were a lot more like people in the store, in the city and all that. And all of them really just got really messed up, and they got washed away and they died, and you got to saw the bodies in the movie. So just to me, a tsunami is a lot more scarier because you really, you can prepare for it. But with the cage thing, gosh, just, you could avoid that situation altogether.
Not if you want to have a good time, though, and you want to make your ex-boyfriend jealous. Like this is something that you got to do.
If you want to make your ex-boyfriend jealous, you freaking just get with the guy, and you can save yourself $100 or two.
No, she was having a good time, and the sister was all about it. She was having a great time.
Her sister was a bad influence.
They were having a great time, man. It looked like
she has a bad attitude. She's forced, like, she just made her older sister just feel real shitty about herself to get her to get into that water. So if she was actually a good sister, it would just be free of harm. They just would have gone clubbing and get with guys. That's a funner time than getting in the freaking cage with sharks.
I would love to go in a cage with sharks prior to seeing this movie.
All right, you talk to your wife about that one. I'm sure she'll agree to that.
It's her idea. She loves the idea of doing that. She would absolutely love that. A lot of people would.
Nick, stop this fool.
Well, both premises are, I think it depends on your taste. Like you said, one's a little more serious, and the other one's just having more fun with it. So I really think it depends on your mood going into this, or if you're down with having a bit of fun in your horror movies. That's what it really comes down to, I think.
Definitely.
Now, let's talk about some of our characters. Now, in your films, how likable are your main characters?
Oh man, mine are so, especially one in particular of the beautiful Sharni Vision. of You're Next, playing as Aaron. But in this one, she took a little bit of a backseat, but she's still likable. Her name is Tina in the movie. And then the main character really is Josh, played by Alexander. What? I'm not sure why the hell they have him in the back here. Alex Xavier Samuel is who plays Josh, our main character. And you just feel bad for him earlier on with all the stuff that he got into, and just following his journey from beginning to end. You really just want to cheer for him. And then the other characters, they're just fun, like freaking Kyle and Heather in the parking garage. Oh, just their interactions throughout that whole second act was just so entertaining and so much fun. And then, of course, you got Julian McMahon, who's very popular, and Nip Tuck, and for the Fantastic Four movies, which I kind of really don't want to talk about. That's a little bit of a sore spot for me in Marvel, but he's in there, and he plays a really good character too, where you really don't like him at first, but as the movie progresses, and that's pretty much this movie in general, as the movie progresses and we get to know the characters and their backstory, you really are just invested to them and you want them to make it out of it. And so the characters in my movie are fun, they're memorable, and you just really want to cheer them on.
Yeah, I mean, they're memorable, but that's because they're all cliches, dude. You come in here at the beginning of the movie and you get introduced to all these characters in Bait.
Oh, he's getting nervous. He's stuttering.
Oh, I'm not nervous, dude. You come in, you get this rent-a-cop guy to hooking up this girl for shoplifting. So you have the shoplifter of the crew, you got the robbers of the crew, you got the cop of the crew, who happens to be the father of the shoplifter, which is just it's very cliche. You got the obviously the former fiance engaged couple here that had a difficult situation, so they split up, and there's nothing really new about any of that. And again, like you said, Sherry Vincent got the backseat here, it seemed like, through most of the movie. And let's not even forget about the fact that these guys, like, what are the odds they end up in the same grocery store when the tsunami comes in? They haven't seen each other in who knows how long, and all of a sudden they're both looking for freaking, it's
a popular store, man.
They're trying to get their milk and bread in before the tsunami comes rolling in.
It's like Walmart, but for Australia.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what it is, but there's probably multiples, right? Like, what are the odds, But anyway, yeah, I mean, they're all cliches. You get the people in the car having sex in the parking garage, which, I mean, you like that guy, Bert? He threw the dog out there. He said, sorry, bully, here you go.
The dog lived, so I didn't quite feel this bad. And plus, he was trying to protect his girlfriend, too. I know she was pissed off at him, but he did what he had to do in that scenario.
The girlfriend would have rather had bully than his ass freaking after that, I'm sure. And I'm sure it was a happy Oh my gosh. I'm sure it was a good time. But then you roll over the 48 meters. There's not as many, or 47.
Yeah.
There's not as many characters in that, obviously, but I think they do a really good job at the beginning of the movie of setting their characters up and building and showing the bond they have as sisters. Like, you have the whole thing, just a fun night out. They're having a good time. Obviously, we find out that the other, I think it's the younger sister, right? The brunette one. She seems a little younger. She's a little bit, Kate, yeah, she's a little depressed because her boyfriend broke up with her because she's too boring. And you have that nice sequence where the older sister's like, no, we're going to have a good time tonight, and we're going to go out there and get lit. It's 1 a.m., but who cares, because we're the only people not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. Lisa's the older sister, Kate's the younger one, and Lisa was the one that got her heart broken.
Okay, gotcha. So they went out, they had a good time. It was a really nice, genuine moment of a couple of sisters hanging out in Mexico, having a good time. They meet a couple dudes. They had the time of their life. It's great. They had fun. And I love that. And this is really before anything happens. So it's nice just to have a little bit of breathing time before the shit hits the fan. And a lot of what makes the movie good is, their interactions together prior to even getting in there. And when it's time to get in the cage, I love that little moment where, who's the dark-headed one again?
Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's scared to get in the cage, and the sister's like, no, let's do this. Let's have a good time. That little bit of fear to get in there, it kind of creates a little, what if situation. Like, what if she decided not to go in there, So I kind of like that. It builds a little bit of anticipation there, just the last seconds before them hopping in the air, and a little bit of anxiety. And I like that. And it all kind of comes down to their, to their relationship together. They hop in there, obviously shit hits the fan, there's sharks, all kinds of stuff's going on. And as the movie goes on, you just get to see them working together. And I really enjoy that. Obviously the two dudes up in the boat, they were decent. They weren't on screen a lot though. So there's not a lot to say about them. The driver of the boat is the guy I'm a little bit concerned about. Just because, like, Taylor. I feel like maybe he murdered somebody in the States and then moved down there and started doing like this little side gig on the boat, rinky-dink boat. But either way, he seemed like a nice guy. I liked his character. He was good. But yeah, I think overall, this movie, there's less characters, but there's more time to kind of flesh them out and build their relationships up.
Yeah, big difference in the amount of characters in these two films. We get a couple more in besides the main two girls in 47, but we don't spend barely any time with them, so it's just pretty much the main two girls. And I'll have to say that when you said about snakes on a plane, and then you were talking about the dog and bait, they remind me of the dog and snakes on a plane.
Exactly.
That get sacrificed too.
Yeah, it reminded me so much of Snakes on a Plane. And the dog reminded me of, obviously, the dog kind of reminds you, the dog jumps in the same club as Muffin from Friday 2, where you think they're dead, but he comes back at the end. And then like Blake Lively's little bird she finds in the shallows, and like there's all kinds of little creatures that make it in that club. They just make it through the whole runtime.
And fun fact about my movie too: the dog that they used in Bait, they used three dogs of the same breed. One that was a barker, one that was a swimmer, and one that was a runner on land. So all three separate dogs.
Well, Shark must have got two of them,
or at least the first one. I just still love that. It's like, sorry, Buffy. No.
It's freaking ridiculous.
See, how do you not have a good time with that? See, Brad even just started off his conversation a whole full minute talking about my dog.
That is a fun scene, I find. But moving on, we talked about the characters. Now, let's talk about the relationship between the characters. Like in Bait, we get the main two, Josh and Tina. And we also get like the father and daughter relationship. And in 47 Meters Down, we get obviously the two sisters. And how do you think they handled the relationship between those characters?
I kind of harped on it already, but I think they did. I think they did a really good job in 47 Meters, because you can see that I completely buy that they're sisters in the movie. They have me sold. Like, I could totally see it. They seem to have a natural kind of chemistry with each other, and I think that really works. And again, that's a large part of the movie, is just the relationship and working together to kind of get out of this, and figuring stuff out together, and trying to watch each other's back and stuff while they're down there. It's really the whole movie, and because of that, they have to carry the whole movie on their own. Essentially, these two characters down in a cage. You don't have a change of settings. Everything is done from their point of view, and I think that, it bodes well that you can have an hour and a half movie. And I'll give you that there's probably a couple of times where it drags a little bit. Any kind of movie where you have, one setting and a limited amount of characters, it's going to happen. But I think for the most part, they did a really good job together of keeping it interesting throughout the whole movie. And I think that speaks volumes as to how well they did,
And speaking of keeping things interesting, other than the first act, the first act of my movie, other than that, the second and third act, all you do is get interested with the story, and especially the characters too, because the first dynamic I got to talk about is freaking Kyle and Heather. Just because they just started off all lovey-dovey, and then towards the end, until Kyle's demise, they just were starting to fall apart. And I just kind of like that, like just to show you how they got from here all the way down there with those two couples right there. And then we're going to the couple of Jamie and I believe his name was not Collins. What's his name? The
Yep.
sheriff. No, not Hefe. Oh, okay. Todd. Okay, with Todd and Jamie, with the father-daughter relationship, you don't know what's going on at first. As Brad says, it's your typical cliche characters and all that. However, when you get towards the end of the second act, you learn why that they're so distant from each other, and that's just it's because of the mother and the wife in that scenario too. So Jamie, when her mom was getting sick, she just couldn't deal with the pain that her mother was going through. So that's why she left. And her father kind of like resented her just a little bit towards it, just like more disappointed. And just to see them like in this movie rebuild their relationship. It's fun to watch on screen too, because she literally, because Todd was going to go into the water to get the hooks, like to sacrifice himself, but Jamie was not having it. That was the moment where their bond was once again tight. And then, of course, we get to my favorite couple of Tina and Josh. Just developing their relationship, because again, it started up on top at the beginning of the movie, and then the second act, it just shit went the fan, because Tina's brother Rory took the place of Josh's position out as the lifeguard, and then just Rory got eaten by the shark. So and you're just seeing it playing out on screen of like Josh feels really bad about it, and how he doesn't think that Tina would forgive him. That's why he was not really nice to her, and they kind of explained that in the movie as well. And just to see their like rebuilding their relationship in this movie too was so much fun to watch too, and I'm glad they resolved their issues and they're now together once again.
I don't know, man.
Happy ending.
Hey, you gotta love a happy ending where you're walking out of the grocery store as a complete wasteland.
Dude, they walked out into a damn video game is what they did, Bert.
Hey, you gotta find a way to spend that $30 million, okay?
With the seagull getting eaten by a shark on the way out.
Oh god, I know that was. I'll agree, that was not fucking needed.
Yeah, I love the relationships in both films. I think 47 Meters Down may have a stronger bond between both sisters, but I did like you said, the resolution throughout all the different relationships going on, whether it be the father and daughter, and that I liked how it played out, and how, like you said, we got to learn about their characters throughout. But if I had to give an edge, I think I'd give this edge to 47, just because it just felt real to me, a little bit more real. But they're great on both sides.
Yeah, and I forgot about freaking Doyle and Naomi too, which they were complete strangers to each other. And even at the end of that movie, to see them forming a brand new relationship was also awesome as well.
Yeah.
Let's move into the danger or the threat of these situations, and the both situations being very dangerous. Let's talk about that.
Okay, well, first off, Brass could have been easily avoided. Just don't go in the damn cage. But mine, it could not be avoided, just because, again, it's a tsunami just hits you all of a sudden, and then you're just surrounded by water. You don't know what's in the water until later on. Then you saw that shark just completely just manhandled the first dude. And then you got also a scenario where there's the electric wire that was about to hit the water. It was going to electrify everybody. Mm-hmm. And then you had the characters set in the parking garage too. So that's just you're watching like two different stories and two different settings and two different danger scenarios, because there was also a shark in the parking lot too. So there's more than one shark that's involved too. And the more sharks, the more danger you are in. So definitely, mine cannot be avoided. Brad's can easily be avoided. Save your hundreds of dollars, go fucking clubbing, and then you're good to go. One night stands, baby.
Golly, Bert. I mean, come on now. You could have went to Kroger instead of Walmart. Like it's easily avoidable. Yeah, like yeah.
Don't
like,
you shit talk about Kroger.
I said go there. I said go there, man.
I shop at Walmart over Kroger. But anyways.
I think it's I mean, obviously they're both shitty situations, okay? But I think, dude, I mean, there's so many different elements of what these people had to go through in 47 meters, okay? Like, not only you get dropped down there, okay, they're already probably dead in real life. Let's go ahead and get to the point. They freaking fell 47 meters. Their heads exploded dead. But they made it. They made that. They survived. They survived the fall. Now they're stuck in a damn cage, dude. They can't open the top. They can't do that. They have one freaking oxygen tank. There's sharks all over the damn place because they chummed the waters a little too extra. And then like, yeah, they can't swim right up because they'll get the bends. They'll die. It's easy. Nitrogen, you know? So yeah, put that in your science, book it. And what did I just say? I don't know. Bucket of science. Yeah. So they go down there. Like, there's so many different things going on that they can't, like, you can't just cross one hurdle off and be good. Like, you can't do that. Whereas in Brett's movie, okay, you take the sharks out of the equation. Cool. Swim out the front door. No worries. Okay. In this situation, you can't do that. You take the sharks out of the equation. They're still fucked. They're still stuck in a damn cage. You have to worry about, okay, the big sister can get through because she's a diver, right? So she can do that. She can put her mask back on. She's fine. The little sister, if she had to do that, she wouldn't be able to do that. She wouldn't be able to clear her mask back out. But even then, say, okay, the big sister gets out. She opens the top for the little one. They go up there. The little sister's screwed because she has no idea how to dive. She has no idea how to accelerate without freaking dying. So there's so many different elements there. And then you put in that little ticking time bomb of not having enough oxygen. And even if you get that second tank of oxygen to help you out, you have the hallucination issue, which we'll get into at the end of the movie here. I'm sure it'll come up. So that, I mean, that's obviously a problem. There's so many hurdles down there, man. Like you sit and wait. Well, you could run out of oxygen. You try to make it to the top, you'll die. You'll get eaten by sharks, or you'll get the bends. Either way, I mean, there's so many different elements there.
That's just how they use the sentence in there. Oh, be careful, you're going to get the bends.
Yeah.
I just laughed. I had to say this. I laughed every time they say, you'll get the bends.
Not to mention the damn tetanus that your girl got after her leg got crushed, and she freaking pulled her leg out and ripped all of her skin off, because that was a rusty ass cage, man. Rusty ass.
Yeah.
If that actually happened.
True. That's a good point. But if it did happen, she would have got tetanus.
Yeah. Hey, well, even though technically they're in the ocean, right, with seawater, so it would have cleaned that wound very easily.
Not to mention, like, let's go ahead and add another freaking element to this. Say they do get out. Say they do want to accelerate to the top. It's so easy to get lost and turn around down there. Like there was a whole sequence down there with your girl's going to find a flashlight, and she finds it, and like, this is legit. This would totally happen. You would have no idea where you're at. You're looking around, pitch blackness all around you, and there's really no way of telling where you're at, and it's really easy to get flipped around. Granted, they had the little oxygen things, but that's just one more thing to think about, you know.
Scary, and you know, and I'm glad you brought. I'm glad you kind of brought it up, because it made me remind me of another scenario with my movie. They also had to deal with two robbers, which one of the robbers, Simon Doyle, turned a good guy towards the end. But there's also the super hilarious entertainer of Kyle, with his freaking quirky, terrible dialogue in the movie. But you have fun with it, and you remember him too. You have to deal with. There was a part in the movie where he had a gun and he was threatening to kill people, so you had to deal with that scenario as well.
Yeah, I mean, you had that scenario, but like, again, like, you take any one of your elements out, you're still good to go. You take out the sharks, you're fine. You take out the rising waters, okay, cool. You wait for help. You take out the electricity, we'll probably be fine for a little bit. Like, any of those, you're going to be okay without the other. Mine, like, you got to jump at each and every hurdle to make it out okay. You know what I mean? Like,
not everybody. Steven gave up his life to turn off that electricity.
Well, Steven should have taken his cans off before he let go of the damn thing.
Oh, dude, don't tell me. Don't remind me. I was screaming. The second time I watched this movie, I completely ignored it the first time because I was just mainly falling in love with Sharni Vincent. But this time I actually took really serious to watching this movie. I was like, dude, take off your fucking cans. What are you doing?
He kept the cans on, dude.
Oh, it frustrated me so bad. But
Beans
again,
don't float.
My movie has fun with it, so they were just having fun with that scenario, even though it was sad.
That was the most ridiculous sequence, dude. He was walking down, and he had this big ass tube, which I don't think he could breathe out of that, for starters. But B, like even if you could, like, yeah, take your damn cans off before you're gonna detach. Like you could swim back when you're done, man. It's fine. Maybe keep the cage on though.
Yeah. So yeah, both dangerous situations. If I had to put myself in one or the other, I think I would have to put myself in bait, though, to be honest. Just because I think I would survive better. You know what I mean? Like I think it's more dangerous in 47 meters down. There's just too many elements against you, I think. Like Brad was saying. But don't worry.
But you save $200 too, and then you can just again have a good time at the bar.
Yeah.
Or you want to go out and have a good excursion. The sharks.
Yeah,
you're just as worse as Kate.
Your situation is definitely spontaneous and it was out of nowhere. It's not like it was planned. So,
not to mention, in the grocery store, you had help. You had other people there to work this through with. Whereas these gals are at the bottom of the ocean, solo dolo. One of them
had the dudes on the boat that were trying to help.
They couldn't communicate with them unless you got out and swam with the sharks, Bert.
Well,
if you're not
that's not their fault. They should have had better cables and all of that.
If you're not going to get into the damn cage to swim with the sharks, you're sure as hell not going to do it without the cage.
Well, or maybe you should have a backup cage, or just make sure your cage is more sturdier. Especially the cables.
They had a backup winch, dude. They did have a backup winch.
I'm sure they did. Freaking strangers. Yeah, there we go. We're just going to go with two strangers out in the middle of the ocean who probably don't even have a fucking permit for that side of the business.
You don't need a permit, Bert. You just go out there and you do it.
Well, you fucking should have a permit. That's how lives are saved.
I'll admit, I don't think I would have gotten that cage after seeing the winch and how rusty everything was.
Hell no, dude. I would have never gotten in that cage.
No.
Now, to be fair, the dudes did get in there. They felt good with it. They went in there first, but I would have told them to hang on to it. I would have said, you know what? Let's maybe not lower it down to the 6 meters. Let's just hang out at the top and, whatever, go from there.
So this is a shark movie. Let's get into the sharks. What do you guys think of the looks and the effects of the sharks in your guys' film?
Oh, boy.
Brad?
All right. So I think... Oh man, I'm sorry, guys. Bait, the sharks look pretty damn bad, man. The CGI for a $30 million shark movie. I did not. I thought they looked pretty atrocious. I mean, there's a couple sequences where they're not that bad. When they're when they're swimming around in the store, they look pretty good there. But like the opening shot there of the shark jumping out of the jet ski or whatever, or on the raft or whatever he was on. Dude, that like completely made me feel, and granted, I know this movie is meant to have a good time with. I know it's not taking itself too seriously, so whatever. But it immediately just feels fake at that point. Like this is supposed to be a really serious plot moment, of the brother dying. You just gave up that spot out there on the raft. Now he goes out there and dies, and it could have been you kind of situation. But it immediately, to me, just like seeing the shark fly through the air right at the screen and looking all CGI like. Just felt really fake, and it really just immediately from the beginning, opening 2 minutes of the movie made me say, okay, this is what we're in for, is for heavy CGI. And that's what we get through most of the movie. Again, I will give credit where credit's due. I think there's a few shots where it looks pretty good in the movie. Specifically, where you don't see the full shark at once when it's kind of swimming around the darkness of the grocery store and in the shadows. I think, and obviously, granted, I don't think any shark since Jaws has really looked that good. And 47 meters is more the same. They're not perfect in that, but I do think they're a little bit better in this movie. I think there's like when they get down in the cage initially and they're having a good time and the sharks are just kind of swimming around. I think they look pretty good right there. They look convincing, and I don't know. Maybe there's real sharks. I don't know. There's a couple sequences in 47 meters where like they kind of shoot up at him from the bottom. That looks a little bit silly, but outside of that, I think they look pretty good. I think they look solid and intimidating. And again, they did a good job of keeping them kind of in the darkness to where you don't really get a great look at them nice and lit up. And I think that bodes well for it. And man, I tell you, the sequence, the hallucination scene at the end when they're riding up and they light that flare up after the first one goes out. Mm-hmm. Dude, that was crazy. There's like 6 of them there, and it looked good. It looked scary, and that was to me one of the best moments of the movie. And let me grant one more thing. You know what? You go ahead, Brett. I'll save this for another section, I think.
Okay, that's okay.
Next
Just because that scene you talked about wasn't real. But anyways,
It's still there. It scared you at the moment, though. That's all that matters.
Oh, it did. I'll give your movie some credit where it did a really good job kind of hiding your sharks with the darkness and the lighting and all that. I will give your movie credit that I was trying to think on how I was going to combat with this. Just because my movie has the disadvantage of course, it's a 3D movie. You have to find ways to be all 3D like and. Of course, a 3D shark's going to look fucking terrible, but at least they have fun with it. And I'll be honest with you, for a 3D shark, in my opinion, I don't think it looked that bad. Really, it could have been a lot worse. Like I agree with Brad, like with the whole jumping up from the jet ski and the bird and the shark at the end eating the bird. Yeah, they went too far on those ones. I agree with that, but the ones at the store, I thought they were fine 3D wise. And then, Brad, you were talking about how some scenes where my sharks looked really good. Yeah. I can easily explain that to you. I did some research. They used 3 animatronic sharks. So that's why they look so real-like, because the director and the producer didn't want to do the 3D as much. They were trying to avoid it as much as they were allowed to. So that's why they did try to make everything so much real. They tried their best with it, but they were held back with the 3D. So if you took the 3D out of this movie, easily my sharks would look like a whole lot better than your sharks.
How many freaking times can you say that, man? If you take 3D out of this movie, it becomes an instantly better movie.
Hey, you're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say it make it a better movie. I just said the sharks.
Yeah, dude, almost every movie where 3D is a thing, it would have been better without it.
Except for Saw.
No, it would have been better without it. Like that was a major deterrence. That's what made the movie suck, is because they made it 3D. So I was just giving you a little bit of credit there. I'm sorry for doing that. But
no, it's okay. No, it's okay. I take it. I take it. Anything else?
I agree with you, Brad. That Brett, where you say, or we all agree that the first was pretty bad and bait, but near the supermarket, like all those scenes, I thought were pretty good. And funny story, I went to watch this movie maybe like 3-4 years ago. And once we get that first shark jumping out by the jet ski, I turned it off because I was like, oh, this is just going to be like another one of those like Sharknado movies. And then through the grapevine, through Killer Flicks, now I started hearing, well, you better check out Bait. It's one of the better shark movies. I'm like, really? So I'm glad I went back, because after that, the sharks do get a lot better, I'll admit. And 47 Meters Down does a great job of keeping them hidden, like you said, with most of the movie, with the lighting and that, so you don't really notice it as much.
Yeah, and they took the crawl approach too, because in Crawl they kept the alligators in the dark too, so the highway those like little CGI effects. So to me this is like the hardest one for me to go up against Brad on, just because the 3D gets in the way. Yeah,
it sure does, dude. It really does put a damper on it for sure. Like you get the freaking Shark Night 3D, Jaws 3D. Obviously, all that is always a disaster when you try to do that.
And this is a special nod, real quick, to Reef, because I think they used real sharks throughout the entire movie of that one, or like shark footages. And that's to me the best one since Jaws.
And Reef, yeah.
So we talked about looks and that, but the mood and atmosphere of the sharks, like how threatening do your sharks feel if you were in the same waters as those sharks?
Well, my sharks to me are more deadlier than Brad's sharks, because their sharks are for Brad's movie, the sharks are in their natural habitat, so they're used to being their habitat. They know their terrain. My movie, they have no idea where the hell they are, so they're probably freaking the hell out. And plus, did you not see my sharks like freaking like with their sweet jumps, especially at the beginning, and then getting that freaking manager at the grocery store, just jumping up like that? My sharks are way more athletic, and they're actually more intelligent too, because as the movie progresses, you see how smarter the sharks get. So easily, my sharks are more intimidating than Brad's.
I disagree. I think because of the opening of this of Bait and the and whatnot, I think my sharks feel a lot more real. So for me, that makes them feel a little bit scarier. They feel like because they're in their natural habitat, rather. I mean, that's their freaking feeding ground. That's what they know. That's what they're the boss there. They're the freaking top of the food chain there. So, so to me, I think that adds a whole lot of stuff to it because you're already in the unknown. You're already screwed. You're already at the bottom of the damn ocean. You're not supposed to be there. They are supposed to be there. I think in Bait, you have the opportunity of using your environment to your advantage, like they did, and they got the shotguns there, and they got the freaking tasers there, and they got the they got the freaking everything. They can shut the power off, and they can make the power come back on and blow. They have more advantages because they're in their environment. Here, they're in the shark's house, baby, and the sharks ain't giving it up, and they feel real. And the way they're presented to me is actually pretty scary. I think. Again, this is one of the more frightening shark movies I think out there because a lot of them are like Bait and a lot of other shark movies are made to be kind of more fun, whereas this one is pretty much more to provide thrills and scares and whatnot, and it shows because I think you get a couple good shots of sharks before they fall down. When they're down there swimming, when they're in the cage, they're 6 meters down. The shark pops out from underneath and eats the camera. Kind of comes out of nowhere. Kind of scary. Nice little jump scare. But I think outside of that, after the cage falls down, the first shark scare you get is really effective. And it is because that at this point in the movie, they make you forget the sharks are even the thing. They drop them down there for a little bit first, and they're down there and they're trying to figure everything else out. Oh, we have oxygen. We have to get up to the surface. We don't have radio. We got to get up here and get contact and let them know we're down here so they can send the Coast Guard or whatever. And you totally even forget that the sharks are even the thing because there's so many other things going on. They go up once. They have contact with the people. They're like, okay, cool. We're down here. Send some help. And they're like, okay, we're going to send the winch down. No problem. So they go back down and then they hear the boat drive off. So they go again to try to get contact with them. And at this point, you're more worried about that boat leaving than you are about the sharks. You kind of forget about it. And that shark comes out of freaking nowhere, man, when they're up there. And I think that that is a very effective jump scare here with the sharks. And again, throughout the movie, they're just fierce. They're relentless. They're relentless, and they're just. I mean, they're terrifying, man. As the movie progresses from that point, you're sitting there like, okay, I'm not getting out of this damn cage because if I do, I'm going to get freaking scooped up immediately. And for me, I think it was far more terrifying, and it's the sharks were done to do that.
Okay, so what about? I know we don't really get many kills in that and 47 meters, but let's talk about comparing the kills and or the attacks by the sharks.
Okay, Brad?
Yeah, I already mentioned the first one. Very effective, again, because you kind of forget it's even going on, and then it comes out of nowhere. And I thought that was great. I like the sequence when, was it Javier? Was that his name? The dude that came down with the winch or whatever. He was swimming down there to help them out.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I believe it's Javier.
I like that sequence too because again, it throws a bigger. It throws another problem in before that. She's trying to find the dude, and then she does, and then gets lost, and it's like, oh shit! And then she's trying to swim back. She just picks a direction and starts swimming, and Javier comes out of freaking nowhere and immediately gets chopped up, dude. He's like, get to the cage, and then he gets freaking chopped up, and again, came out of nowhere because you're already thinking about how is she even going to get back to the cage. All that's done so fast, and I thought that was a great sequence. And then there's a couple other sequences where she's trying to swim, she's trying to stay close to the ocean floor, and the shark kind of comes in and tries to swoop her up. I thought that was really, really effective. She gets into the rocks, and the shark keeps trying to get in there. I thought that was really good. And dude, how freaking scary was it? After all that goes on, she starts swimming away, and then there's like the floor of the ocean just goes away. Like, I just had to throw that in there. It's like, damn, man, dude. Yeah, how many sharks are down there? That's what I want to know. And how big are they? Yeah. So that was crazy. I like that a lot. I mentioned the hallucination sequence. All of that was fantastic. as far as the scares go, because they're coming up, they're doing pretty well. The flare goes out, they're like, oh shit, let's light another one, and then there's like freaking 8 of them near, and it's like that to me, and they're just kind of creeping in, and it's just like, oh, it's crazy, and they all get, obviously they freak out once the flare goes out, and then just the panic that sets in after that flare goes out was awesome, man. And they get up there, and obviously the shark has a couple of attacks up there, which I thought they looked really good. Nice shark wounds on the legs and the bodies and stuff, and all that was pretty nice and scary because they were so close to getting out of there. So that was great, man.
Well, with my movie, first off, my sharks can jump. So again, at the beginning, where the shark was freaking jumping to get the first dude, and just to swallow him whole, man, like that's a big damn shark to eat the first person just with one swallow and all that. Like screw chewing like Brad's freaking sharks, dude, just nibbling at their characters. Mine's like, nope, we're gonna get this in one gloop, and that happens. And then the store, that shark is not only intelligent but very vicious too, because again, when the manager was trying to get out, that shark freaking again just showing off its athleticism and jumping and just chewing that. Like again, one bite, guys, just one bite it takes to rip that manager's whole body in half too, and he's just like hanging in there like this. Like I thought that was funny, but just that shark. And then when the shark was in the parking garage, just manhandles Kyle, just like we're not nibbling Brad, like they do to your two sisters there. They just my sharks go to town, and like with Kyle just ripping him to pieces and all that. My sharks do not mess around in this movie. And then just poor Kirby, when his look is like, oh boy. And then the shark again freaking goes after Kirby. Just no, we're not nibbling at him, just manhandling. Like that's what my sharks do. They manhandle them. They don't waste any time whatsoever. And my sharks get the job done. Your sharks suck. They can't even get to girls.
Well, dude, okay, here it is though. Like, I mean, honestly, if you're in that situation, would you rather get eaten like in one bite, or would you rather be freaking nibbled upon for like 10 minutes? Because to me, I would rather just get it over with. And again, that feels more real. And I think for me, like having to fight the shark mano a mano and get away, and then okay, you get out of its grasp once, and then you still got to get out of the damn water. You still got to make that happen. So to me, like I don't know. To me, the more realistic approach of the sharks is more scary. But
my sharks were bigger.
And 12 footers.
Yeah, 12 footers.
Yeah, with the snout and all that, they're 12-foot great whites.
I think ours were 20 feet over there, though.
They're bullshit. They looked more like sand sharks.
No, they were freaking big as a mofo, man.
So going back to my last two questions, I would have said that 47 meters down, I think, is more tension-filled and more threatening just because it's more realistic. But I think the kills and the attacks are better in Bait just because there's more entertaining. And, you're there for the kills in that film. So they did a pretty good job with that. And I love the guy hanging, like you were talking about, getting bit in half. That's always great.
Yeah. But just how about for him? He was trying to work on his gymnastic skills, and just he didn't hit the landing.
It did have the advantage of having the bigger cast too, though, so you could kill off a few more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're talking about these kills, though. You're in a damn shark movie, and you're going to have freaking homeboy drown because he didn't drop his beans in time. Like that's a kill in this movie. He just drowns. He doesn't get eaten. He just the shark could have had beans and the dude. Like he could have had the freaking 2-for-1 special, but like he just kind of drowned away.
But you gotta remember, our boy Steven closed that door so the shark couldn't get access to him.
Oh, they could have freaking easily got access in there, man. Easily. All they had to do is open the door freaking Deep Blue Sea style.
Yeah, okay. The shark's just gonna just go up in there going.
They just swim through it, dude. It's deeply. You ate my bird.
you turn on the oven.
What my money make the world go round.
Okay.
Which I'm not sure if you're going to bring this up. Are you going to bring up music?
No, I didn't have that.
Okay, because the music choices and the songs that they played in Bait were awesome too. Especially the one they played during Steven's death scene and all that. That was a really good score in that and for Bait.
Absolutely. Both of these films have scenes where we're underwater, whether it be the guy with the cans or 3/4 of 47 meters down. Which film do you think handled the underwater scenes better?
Well, I like to see what is actually going on underwater too. So I gotta go with my movie too because it's a little more brighter. Just because you just want to see the carnage throughout the whole entire run of my movie, and you can't do that with Brad's setting when it's just dark all over the place. So that's why they have to lighten up mine more. So the underwater scenes work better in my movie. Especially you have to go along with Steven's quest to turn on the electrical power too. Like I want to see it. I don't want to see it in the dark shadows.
You don't want to just hear cans clicking.
Yeah, I can just imagine click, 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 click.
That's going to attract freaking sharks more than anything, dude.
Yeah, you think it would.
So Bait also had the freaking ridiculous underwater car scene where they're just sitting in the car and the whole thing's underwater and they're just sitting in there in their little bubble like, oh yeah, hey, let's go ahead and put it on this radio station because we want to know what kind of oldies are playing today. It was wild. But again, you're having fun with this movie, so whatever, I get it. It's not a big deal. But I do like you said, Nick. This movie is 3/4 of the movie is underwater, and I think they do a really good job with that. Brett, what you got to remember about this is the darkness plays into another challenge for these guys. It's another thrill. It's another piece of scariness, and I think they actually did a really good job with the lighting in this movie because, like I mentioned earlier, you look at underwater, you cannot once they get out of the little ship down there, whatever the underwater thing where they basket weave, it's you can't see anything. Like it's total pitch blackness the whole movie. I have no idea what's going on the whole time. This movie is different. They at least give you a little bit of light so you can see what's going on, but they leave it dark enough so you kind of remind yourself, oh yeah, it's also pitch black down here. They can't see anything beyond what's outside of their cage. And I think that was a good decision to do that. If they would have made it completely as dark as it actually would have been, again, you wouldn't be able to see anything. You wouldn't even be, I mean, you wouldn't have that interaction between them and whatnot. And again, like I mentioned earlier, when she comes up to that cliff, when she's swimming around out there, and this is right after the other sister mentions like, hey, you want to stay on the ground because they come up from below. And then like she gets on the ground, she scurries over, and then it just drops off into a bottomless pit essentially. And you're already 47 meters down. How deep is that going to go? What's down there? How many sharks are down there? How many are going to come up and freaking bite my ass? He's going to bite your ass after I freaking swim over this ledge. It builds up that anticipation. So I think it really does a good job of giving you that atmosphere of being at the bottom of the ocean. It gives you some lighting so you can see what's going on enough, and just it does enough to remind you that it's actually like it's its own world down there, and you have no idea where you're at. And it plays in the two when she gets lost, right? And she has no idea which way to go. And how terrifying is that? You're in the fucking bottom of the ocean, literally don't have a fucking clue which way is what and where to go.
Hard to believe it was filmed like in a pool. Most of that film, like indoors pool.
That's freaking nuts, man.
I know. It feels like the ocean.
Yeah, it looks like the ocean, and it brings you a lot of claustrophobia, even though it's so open. Just having that cage and only your cage, and if you get outside of that, all bets are off. Like it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to talk about your little twist ending here. Which film had a better resolution or conclusion, depending on how things played out?
Oh man, it's my turn to go, right, Brad? No, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Oh, yeah. So I actually the ending of this thing is fantastic on 47 meters. I think that's great. I think it's awesome. Because they talk about it a few times in the movie about the hallucination thing, and then it happens. Like you have this whole freaking epic end sequence where it's like, holy shit, this is the end of the movie, and it feels like the end of a movie. like the way they get up, and you have this last epic freaking show off against the sharks. And you finally get up there, and there's a couple of attacks, and they get up there, the legs bleeding, they're freaking put little wrappers on, trying to save their lives and stuff. And then it cuts to the way the transition is fantastic. The transition is fantastic, where she's laying there, and then she starts to kind of hear the radio, and you're like, what's going on here? And her hand's kind of floating around, like the blood is floating out of her hand. And it cuts to her down in the cage. And obviously that's what the whole movie comes down to, is at this point, like, you know, she thought she made it out. She thought they both made it out and they had a good time, but really she's still stuck down at the bottom, and she's lost her sister at this point. But, you know, she gets rescued. They get her way out of there. So I think it's kind of neat the way that's done, because, I mean, obviously, you know, we all like happy endings for the most part, but it's nice when you finally see a movie that does something different, and this one does that. It takes away one half of what made this movie solid, and that's this sisterhood bond that we get between these two main characters. And yeah, I mean, I think it's a great story because of it. I really do.
Man, you're hallucinating in this scenario. Of course, my movie was had the better ending, just because mine
because
had
of a freaking seagull got ate by a shark.
Hey, it's memorable. See, you keep on bringing it up, so you're proving my point about this movie being memorable, because you're going to remember that Sing Alone versus your movie. But my ending is just so much fun too, because that's when Josh gets the freaking shotgun baby. And oh yeah, he gets to be a major badass on that one, and gets to kill not one shark, but both sharks. And he just does it in the most epic way too. Cause he even has his own slow motion scene. Like, you can't get more badass than having your own slow motion scene. Hell, even the dog in Friday the 13th Part 4 had its own slow mo scene. So
Gordon.
Yeah, freaking Gordon, man.
You want to see his girlfriend.
Yeah, just like, I'm out here. And same thing with this one. Like, Josh gets his own badass scene. He gets he kills a shark with a taser. Badass. Just seeing the tasers. Just my movie just has so much fun, and they just ramped up everything to a whole nother level in the third act. And just, if you want to have fun with a third act and just not get all depressed like Brad's movie, you come over to my movie. We show you have a good time.
Yeah, but tasers don't work that way. Like, that's not going to happen. You can't kill a freaking shark with a taser.
Well, hey, if you get the right taser and the electricity and the water, and you know, because that shark is the most electrifying shark in all of horror entertainment.
You got that right. But yeah, man, I've already said my piece. I won't go back into that.
Yeah, Bait has a pretty epic ending. I liked how that turned out. With 47 meters down, it's very divisive on that twist ending. I hear online, like, a lot of people hate it and other people loved it. Me, I felt like you needed that in that film, because without it, if it would have just resolved the way we see it resolve, I think it would have been more mediocre. Like, I don't know. I like that punch at the end, but that's personal taste. And like you said, it depends if you like a happy ending or a more messed up ending, I guess.
That shark has personal taste. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I do love that freaking ending, man. Like, that whole sequence is probably my favorite part of the movie. And whenever the transition happens and she's still down there, it's just another freaking gut punch in this movie, full of gut punches, where it's like, oh shit. Like, it's like, this is still going on, and you're still fucked. Like, you didn't even get your leg out. That's how still fucked you are.
Hey, freaking my store manager took a gun punch, like, literally.
All right, I only got a couple more here. One is the next up. Does your movie drag on? How's the pacing?
Pacing of my, I would say pacing of mine was pretty good for the most part, just because it covers up some of my. I'll admit my movie does have some pacing issues, but it's covered up. Like, my movie can get away with it if you're having fun and you're entertaining. And that's what my movie is. My movie is entertaining, so it does hide some of the slow pacing issues in the second act. Even though the reason for it is because, again, with more characters, you have to have those times to develop each of those characters. But the first and third act, pacing wise, was perfection to me. I thought they were really nicely paced. The third act didn't overstay his welcomes. They made Josh the badass, and then they just let him go loose for like 10 minutes. And the first movie set up everything in the first 10 to 15 minutes. So no, some pacing issues, but again, it's entertaining, so it hides the pacing issues really well.
Yeah, I think with Bait, it took a little time for things to get rolling, and it didn't really need to because everything's so cliche and already set up anyway. It took a little bit longer than I would have liked to take to get things really rolling. That being said, obviously 47 meters, it's going to have some times where things kind of slow down a little bit because that's like I said earlier, it's the nature of it. I mean, you have one setting, it's a small setting, and you have two characters, and they have to carry the whole 90 minutes of this movie. But I think for the most part, that being said, it's very much like Open Water. Open Water and other kind of movies like that. Phone Booth.
Yeah.
Where that came from, I don't know. But yeah. It wasn't bad, but anyway, that being said, for them to have just that small of a setting and whatnot, and limited amount of characters, I think it does a really good job of keeping your attention for the most part. Again, there's a couple times where you're like, okay, they've been down here for some time. Like, that happens. I'll admit that, but I think again, all for when you put all the the totality of the circumstances in there, I think they do a pretty solid job of keeping that pacing going by adding new challenges and new pieces to the puzzle into this thing as the runtime goes on. And I think they really do a good job at the beginning to setting everything up. And I think it works really well.
I hear a lot of people complain about that too, about the starting of 47 meters, say it's so boring in that, but I feel you need that. Like, you really get to know the two sisters.
Yeah, I love that. And I said the same thing about Till Death, Brett, when we did that review, the opening of that. Anytime you take some time to build some characters, I'm okay with it, especially if it works. And in this movie, I think it did.
Yeah, you don't spend more than 20, 25 minutes because then, I mean, you're eating up the runtime at that point. But yeah, they did a good job. For me, pacing, I'd have to go with Bait, though, but it's all because of the one set location and limited characters in 47 meters. But yeah, they do a good job with what they got.
Yeah, I think so.
One of the last questions is the rewatchability of these films.
Here we go. Ashley Gray, you're first.
Okay, so mine's not really a movie that you really want to rewatch a lot because it's so bleak and so down and so like it's a thriller or horror movie that like honestly like it doesn't like in all honesty, it doesn't have a lot of rewatchability. It's not one you want to watch all the time because it's not a fun movie. It's scary, it's terrifying, and it's it's full of death and freaking your damn sister dying, man. Like it's sad. It's not something you want to revisit a lot of. And to me, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's more whenever you do watch it the once or twice, every year or so. I mean, I think, it packs a lot of heat to it, packs a lot of punches. And like I said, it's not when you rewatch a lot, but when you do, it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, well, let me think about my movie. Is it really rewatchable? Wait a minute. Of course it's rewatchable. How is this movie not rewatchable? I've already watched it twice already so far. The last time I watched it was like, I would say about a month and a half ago. So easily rewatchable, just because you get memorable characters. You're in a nice setting. You can have fun at that setting of a grocery store, and then just the kills. You come back for the kills for some good old shark gore, and so I don't really have to explain a lot because again, my movie is so much damn fun, and the most rewatchable movies are the ones you can have fun with, and my movie easily delivers that.
Let me just throw one more little stoke to this fire though real quick just to make it interesting here. I think yes, when you just compare these movies for what they are, obviously Bait's going to be more rewatchable because it's a more fun movie. It's less depressing. But when you think about your lifetime as time goes on, which one are you going to actually rewatch more? I think it might actually be 47 Meters Down, because Bait it's fun. It's a good time, but it's also not as unique. 47 Meters Down, when you're actually looking for a shark movie to scare you, this is going to be one that you will put in. Whereas Bait, there's a plethora of fun shark movies that you could put in. Sharknado, freaking Shark Night, freaking Deep Blue Sea, whatever it is. Like there's a plethora of those. So I think for me, at least, when I'm thinking of a shark movie, I want to watch a shark movie tonight, I want to get scared, I will probably pull 47 Meters before I pull Bait, just because there's so many other options going against Bait.
I'll give that to you. If you want to watch a scary shark movie, go ahead. 47 Meters Down. But I would think that most of the horror community, with their shark movies, they want to have fun with their shark movies. So that is why, once again, Bait is more rewatchable for that very reason too. And the ones you mentioned before too, all of them have a very fun entertainment factor to it. Your movie's entertaining just because it delivers a scary aspect. But again, people want to watch for the shark kills, man, and that you gotta come to Bait on that side, because we deliver that.
That you do, Ted.
Great points. I'll admit Bait is probably more rewatchable, but at the end of the day, the one that stuck with me the most is 47 Meters Down. Like, I don't know, the impact it had on me was greater, I'd say. Even though I'd probably rewatch Bait more over time. But yeah, great points, guys. Last question. Which one of these films do you think has a better chance of becoming a cult classic in the future? Because they're both fairly newer, like 10 years, 11 years tops. Like, no, 9 years, I think, for Bait. So, yeah,
Bait came out in 2013, I believe,
Okay.
and then Brad's movie came out in
17.
2017. Yes.
Yeah, so.
If we're like talking about classics, because okay, we'll just assume that both
Like
movies,
in 30 years.
Yeah, 30. Okay, I just want to make sure. I would definitely still want to say my movie would still be the cult classic, because most cult classics, again, add on to the rewatchability. And so we go right back to Bates on that one. And again, the characters are so damn memorable in my movie too. And with Brad's movie, where it's going to struggle with it being called a cult classic, the big twist is revealed. And usually if you have the big twist, it's hard to rewatch it again because you already know what's coming. So that really damages it for being a cult classic. So easily Bates will be that classic for you.
Is this the last question?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think, again, for reasons like I just said in the last question, I think 47 Meters actually does have a better chance of being a classic. Reason being is because, again, Bait is so while some of the ideas and stuff are pretty fresh, it has the same kind of tone as a lot of other movies like Snakes on a Plane and freaking and damn Sharknado and all these other like kind of fun shark movies, Shark Night, and you know, there's endless amounts of fun shark movies out there that just go freaking off the walls and you're having a good time, and there's CGI, there's a bunch of kills and all this, but there's so few scary shark movies. Like, I mean, there's just not many of them. When you think about scary ones, like you have obviously Jaws, it's scary. Outside of that, I don't know, like maybe The Reef, like we talked about earlier. I haven't seen that one in a while, but I think that one's kind of scary. 47 Meters is scary for sure, and I think it fits into that very small, unique club of actual scary shark movies. The Shallows would be one as well that you could throw into this. Which again, that one balances pretty decent amount of fun and scares. But either way, like there's not a lot of shark movies that really take themselves seriously like this one does. So for that, you know, being said, I think this one has a great potential to be watched for years and years and years. Whereas Bait, I think, can kind of be lost in the shuffle with all these other kind of fun shark movies. Meg, the list goes on, right? And this one, it has a lot of tension to it, man. It really does. I mean, I think having the unique perspective of the POV, like everything is kind of told through the two sisters, even when they're dangling there in the shark cage and it breaks, all that stuff going on is like it's through their POV. So we're not up on the deck, we're not seeing the thing break off or whatever. we're getting scared. We're right there with our characters, figuring out what's going on with them. We don't know anything outside of what they know, and I think that adds to a lot of the scariness of this movie. And I think that's awesome, man. And again, there's so many elements of so many different scares, so many different challenges, and so many different things to kind of make this unique compared to a lot of other shark movies. So for that, I'm thinking this one's definitely it's going to stand the test of time a little bit better than Bait, just because I think it's a little bit more rare to find a movie like this.
Yeah, both films have potential to become classics in the future. I will add about the scary shark films. Yeah, there's just not many of them. Like you said, Jaws. I'd put this one, Shallows, maybe The Reef and Open Water, and that's like it. And I watched like 25 or 30 of them before. Like I have a list here, and there's just not a lot of scary shark movies. So in that sense, it might get more recognized when people are seeking those types. But at the same time, Bait is just so fun. If people's looking for those types, maybe they'll be stumbling upon it in the future. So we'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. And then you just throw out the name of Sharny Vision. Hey, do you like Aaron from Your Next? I got a shark movie for you. And plus, like, again, you get all of her beauty in that first opening scene in this movie. Hot damn. I just had to throw that out there real quick.
Oh.
Like, I fell in love with the movie instantly with that scene alone. But
Yeah,
other than that, my movie is just such a great time. I love the characters.
Yeah, they're both great.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're both here in this conversation together for a reason, man. For a reason.
Oh yeah, so easily a fun matchup. Nick, do you got any other questions you want to ask?
That's it.
Alrighty. So are you in the clear real quick?
Yep.
Brad, are you in the clear?
Off the record, dude. Everything at this point's off the record.
All right, off the record. It does not count for anything. I fucking love the ending of 47 Meters Down.
You liked it?
I fucking loved it. Like, I kind of should have known that was going to, like, they talked about the hallucinations. I'm like, I wonder if they're going to play that in a factor. And once you really dive into it, like, yes, the girls are okay. We're all good. And then when I saw, like, the blood, like, wavy, I'm like, no shit, they went there. Because I didn't think they were going to go there. And so when they actually did, I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to have a hard time going up against this ending.
Yeah, the ending's dope, man. Like I absolutely loved it. Yeah, like the whole sequence, because it feels so real, man. Like they don't make it like a nice and easy journey up. No, like they're still facing challenges even in the hallucinations. So it's
and Mandy Moore sold the shit out the hallucinations at the end too.
Yeah,
where she's underwater and just doing this and laughing and all that. Like, Kate, we're saved. I'm like, oh, she's sold. Knocked it out of the park on that one.
Yeah, definitely, man. And when she woke up, I'm like, God dang, like how far back is this going to be? Like, is it like, because at that time I didn't know, like until you see her leg under there, it's like, I don't know, man, it was awesome, man. I loved it. And both times I've seen that movie, that ending really stood out as a big positive for me.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's so subtle the way they tell you about the hallucinogens, like in the film.
Yeah.
Like they give you the information, but by the time it happens, you kind of forget about it. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, because you're so focused on, like, again, what Brad said, like the oxygen and then the sharks, like you just forget about it. And I shamefully forgot about it. So bravo 47 Meters Down for that. Brad, did you at least have fun with Bait? Because I know, that's not usually your cup of tea, but I'm just curious.
No, I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't hate it by any means. I thought it was pretty solid, and I did have a good time with it. Obviously, it was cheesy as hell, and that's fine. That's what it was kind of going for, and yeah, I think it's definitely a fun shark movie for sure, and it's probably one I'll revisit at some point for sure.
Yeah, and buy that bad boy on Blu-ray too. I'm pretty sure they have a good deal on Amazon. That's where I got my copy.
Dude,
and actually, my copy is that. Yeah, actually, my copy is the 3D kind.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah, because in Australia they took off the 3D part of it, and then when they sold it on Blu-ray, they added the 3D to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind to see that.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick that up because I watched it on Tubi. And I think it was leaving Tubi, so
Yeah, that's where
too.
I watched it for the first time. Stephanie was telling me about it. I was like, hey, you were watching new movies? You should go check out Bateson's Shark Week's coming. So, and I took a gander at it, and it has no reason to be good for me or rated high for me, but it just really does. Like Bates, I give it a 4 out of 5, and then 47 meters down, I give it a good old 3.5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
I haven't really scored them seriously, like or whatnot. But I mean, just in the letterbox, I gave Beta 2 and 47 meters a 3. But I mean, I do,
and that's fair. Like
and
for
that's
Bates,
not
that's fair.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Like I think that's just like a, it's almost average, like kind of movie. But that's not to say I didn't have a good time with it. I don't think it's a 2 for me isn't a horrible score. It's kind of just more of an average score.
Yeah, Nick, what would you rate these movies on your scale?
I gave 47 meters down a 7.5 out of 10. And Bait, I never really rated, but I'm thinking around 6.5 or a 7 for me.
Oh, heck yeah, that's a good score. That sounds like around like 2.5 to 3 range.
Yeah.
So, oh, and another one I want to bring up too is Josh's epic acting scene when he was talking to Sharni's character of Tina. I actually, unfortunately, laughed just because he was trying so damn hard to be serious.
The acting, yeah.
But again, it's Brad says it's a cheesy movie too, so they're not treating themselves serious. Even though that one scene alone, that's where I feel like they were trying to be serious when they had no business being serious.
Yeah. And I mean, for me, it's the same thing. Like Snakes on a Plane's the same thing. It's like probably a 2 out of 5. It's just not really a combination of CGI and weird, cheesy ass freaking dialogue at times. Just, I have a good time with it to an extent.
Motherfucking snakes.
Yeah.
They're popcorn flicks.
Yeah, that's what they
exactly.
are. You can have a good time with them for sure.
Yeah, turn your brain off and just, if you want to waste a good hour and a half, there you go.
Yeah, definitely.
All righty. So, do we have anything else we want to talk about? With
Just
our
happy
two,
it's
with the
Shark
two
Week.
movies? Oh yeah, Shark Week. Shark Week. Nick, do you have anything coming up on your channel besides the Friday the 13th? Because I know we're all working on that together. But is there anything else on your channel that you want the audience to know about?
Well, I've been recently trying to do Shark Sundays, putting out a shark review. I will have Deep Blue Sea out this Sunday, so you can check that out. Yeah, it should be fun. I always have a song reaction every Wednesday, Thursday. I only do them those 2 days a week. And yeah, my Friday content on Friday. So aside from that, I have Alice Cooper ranking with Jason Nike and Filthy Dan over on Jason's channel, July 18th.
Awesome.
And I got a watch along for School of Rock tomorrow at it would be 6 o'clock Eastern.
Oh heck yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, School of Rock with Jack Black.
Yeah.
And the girl from iCarly's in there too.
Yeah, Summer. I just figured that out not long ago. Never knew.
Yeah, I know. It's just crazy going back. They're like, oh, hey, this person was in it and this person was in it. So
yeah, it should be a good time.
oh man, that's awesome. And we're looking forward to all that great content on your channel too. You do such an amazing job on your channel.
Yeah,
Thanks, you guys too.
You've been crushing those freaking Friday reviews, man. They've been very solid and informative and everything. And yeah, I mean, you've been absolutely crushing them. Awesome stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, and then Brad, do you want to try to tell everybody what we got coming up besides Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th is obviously the main priority at this point. That's really what we're really focused on. As things kind of happen, we're gonna do no, okay, so this is already okay. So yeah, at this point we're on week 8 of Friday the 13th, right? So this Friday we're gonna have part 8, Jason, by the time this video comes out. So that's gonna be fun. Tune in for that one because it's gonna be the intro there is gonna be good. So
It'll knock your head off.
So this Slash It Out obviously is kind of bringing back the show. Obviously, it's something that it just kind of with Friday the 13th and stuff we fell behind on doing them, but we're excited to be back here pretty soon. Probably here in about 2 weeks, Brett. I would say maybe we'll release the next one, which we've already done with Robbie Sobel, which was Slash It Out, comparing Exorcism of Emily Rose to The Fourth Kind. So it's a good little duo there, and we had a good time with that one as well. Obviously, Robbie is another guy doing these Friday the 13th reviews with us and doing a good job. And it was a fun video. That's pretty much it. As things come out, we may do reviews here and there. So obviously, we did Black Widow. And there's some other things coming here down pretty soon too, so we're excited about it.
And we're working on 2 podcasting shows too, and we're really excited to really dive into those. And then we're still in talks about Good Real Haunting 2021. We're going to go twice as big as we did last year, and we're excited for October. Definitely just coming around the corner. Oh yeah, so I say as we get closer to October, we're gonna wrap this thing up, and we're gonna let y'all get back to your shark goodness for Shark Week. So if I were you guys, and Kate and Lisa could have taken this advice as well, do not go into that cage. Do not go into the water. Just spend your $200 on food for the week and watching Shark Week.
Yeah, just don't buy that food at the supermarket in Australia.
Oh! I'm going to end it on that one, even though well played, sir. So, guys, what did you all think about this sharkerific Slash It Out episode? Are you on Team Brad with 47 meters down? You like a serious shark movie? Or are you on Team Bait with the Brett man over here and you love to have fun with your shark movies? Let us know in that comment section down below, and let's get that discussion rolling.
And if you want to fund the good reels, you can do so by funding us on Facebook, Instagram, Letterboxd, Twitter, Snapchat, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and TikTok. Those links are in the description, as well as Nick's below as well. Looks like he's got Letterboxd and Facebook down there, right, Nick?
Yep.
Cool. We'll have those links down there for his stuff as well. So be sure to check him out. Great stuff. You will not be disappointed at all.
Absolutely. And be sure to like this video, share, and subscribe, and of course ring that bell, ding ding ding, so you know when the next Slash It Out and feature videos are up and ready.
Right you are, and we'll be swimming with you guys very soon. So get your floaties out, but don't bleed in the water.
Sorry, I couldn't breathe there for a second. See you guys.
Peace out.
See ya.